A little bit. We have 2 more sessions, and I want you guys to stay a little bit because they're very important. Next, I welcome to the stage Maricel, Saenz. Please come over here. We had a little bit of a change in the agenda, and she's a very, very interesting person I actually invited a long time ago. So one thing that we do not have at Latinas in Tech often is Latinas in Science. Latinas opening new bridges in the world of biotech, high technology, and science. So Maricel joins us from Next Biotics. She's CEO and co-founder. She's Tika for all the Costa Ricans out there. So Next Biotics opens synthetic biology possibilities to find. You tell it better than I do.
Yeah, so at Next Biotics, we use synthetic biology to engineer viruses and use them as solutions for the antibiotic resistance crisis. So we want to make these viruses into alternatives to antibiotics.
So just to tell people like me, normal mortals, about what synthetic biology is, please raise your hand if you've had the Impossible Burger. Okay, that's synthetic biology. Tell us more about synthetic biology.
Absolutely. Synthetic biology is this really exciting field. If you think about it from a technology perspective, we're able to code with ones and zeros, but the code of life is made in DNA, right? So A, T, C, G. Now we have developed technologies that allow us to program life, to program biology, to make them create new materials, to make them create new ingredients, like for the Impossible Burger, to develop new and living drugs. So that's the technology that we use to reprogram the DNA of these viruses and make them efficient bacteria killers.
Okay, so why don't we go back to your past, back to Costa Rica, back when you were still deciding what you wanted to do in your career. What were you thinking? Did you expect to be venturing into these areas?
Yeah, so I love to talk, and I do it really quickly. So everyone told me that I would be a great lawyer. So I went to law school for 6 months and then realized that that wasn't for me. So I left Costa Rica to go to Vancouver in Canada and pursue a career in business. Yeah.
So you are the CEO and co-founder. So how was the process of ideating something so advanced, and how was it for you, the process of selling this, especially as a female in a world of synthetic biology? I mean, you just recently were at Beta, and you were probably one of the few women there.
Yeah, so I am the non-technical co-founder. Again, I'm a woman, I'm a Latina, I'm always the different one in the room. But what I found was a co-founder that had very complementary skill set, the one I have. So my co-founder is a PhD in biophysics, he's a great scientist, and I had studied business with a focus in finance, but always thinking about how do we use business and my skill set to drive change, to create impact. So we came together with him developing the technology and me creating the go-to-market, the commercialization, and making this platform into products. And we make a really good team because we are very different. And I think, as we've probably talked a lot about today, diversity is key to be successful. So it's always not the funnest to be the only woman or like one of the few, but I think the most important thing is that there just needs to be more of us doing wild, crazy things.
So now I know you went to Singularity University, and tell us a little bit about that experience.
Totally. So Singularity University is a think tank. They used to have this 3-month program that was based on how do we use exponential technologies to positively impact 1 billion lives. So I went there 2 years ago, and that's where I met my co-founder. And it's having conversations around how do we use these technologies like artificial intelligence, biotechnology, nanotechnology, not only to create profit in the world, but actually to create change and to make people's lives better. So that's where I met my co-founder, and that's where Next Biotics was born. So after we had an idea that we thought had potential, we started applying to accelerator programs, got our first funding from the University of Berkeley. And then I quit my job. My co-founder went out to finish his PhD, and we've been working on it ever since.
That's really nice. So I've seen a lot of us that either work in technology or aspire to work in technology. The first thing we think is, I want to work for Google, I want to work for Facebook, I want to be one of the employees at these massive tech companies. So what message do you have for newcomers, girls that are still thinking what they want to study, about creating technology?
Yeah, I think working for one of the big tech companies, it's a great place to learn, and it's a very valuable path. I actually went to consulting for 2 years because I was in the same spot. I had started what was my first startup where we were developing technology for children with autism, and I said, I don't think I'm ready to start a company by myself right now, so I'm going to go learn how the big companies solve problems. And then now that I feel like I'm ready, we started the company. However, it's super scary, it's super hard, but it's incredibly rewarding and powerful to understand that if you have a vision of how the world should look like, you have the power to create it. And if it's a good vision and you can surround yourself with a good team and supporters, then all the pieces start coming together. The funding, the advisors, the team, the equipment, the technology, and it's piece by piece. I think patience is super key, but it's also about doing something that you really, really care about, because that's what pushes you through the really hard times and makes the good times better.
Now, if you were to go back to when you were 15 years old, when you were still trying to figure out what you wanted to do, what would you tell yourself?
That's such a good question, because I've been thinking about that a lot lately, where if when I make decisions nowadays, I think I'm always scared of, and I'm assuming most of us are, of making the wrong decision and of disappointing people around us. And lately I've realized that the most important person that I cannot disappoint is my 15 or 12-year-old self. You know, the little girl that believed that she could create change and that she could change the world. And I'm trying to keep her in mind when I'm making these tough decisions and thinking that is the most important person that we can't disappoint. So I think if I would go back and tell her something, it would be to make the best of every single opportunity that comes across. That when you're doubting yourself, it's better to say yes and try and fail than to self-select out and say, oh no, I'm not ready for this, you know, I'm gonna wait a few years. It's always better to, opportunities come a lot of the times once in a lifetime, and it's better for us to say yes. And if it doesn't work out, we're going to learn so much from that if we just say no and stay on the sidelines.
Definitely. So that's a very interesting point. What is your perspective? I would assume that any successful startup starts by making mistakes, or maybe this time didn't work as you planned. What is your perspective about failure and trying again and again?
Yeah, failure and trying is core to every startup. For everything that you get right, you probably got a few things wrong. I think it's about the mentality around what you're learning each time that you got something wrong. So, for example, we've been having a lot of conversations around what's our go-to-market strategy, where do we start? And to be honest, we've made mistakes in the past. We thought we had to pursue a market that wasn't the right one for us. So we learned quickly, we changed directions, and we sat down and said, what did we get wrong? What did we not see? What did we not ask ourselves? Who did we not talk to? And then make sure that the next time that we have a different shot, or that we have a different market, that we go and ask those questions and try to prevent from making a mistake again.
Thank you very much. This is really interesting, and I'd like to open question and answers from the public. If anybody has any questions for Maricel. Okay, we have a first question. I'll give you my microphone.
As a female founder, entrepreneur, when it came time to fundraise, what sort of a challenge was that? Did you feel compelled to take you've got a male co-founder, right? Did you feel compelled to take him along in the meeting and have some sort of validation as to, hey, it's not just me? Did you feel intimidated speaking to investors? How open were they? Just a little bit about that process.
Yeah, definitely. Fundraising is really hard. But the thing is, fundraising is hard for everyone. I actually at Beta last week, I talked to a biotech entrepreneur that has raised $800 million. And I was like, I'm raising money and it's so hard. And he's like, it's hard every time. It's hard if you're raising 2, it's hard if you're raising 10, it's hard if you're raising 100. The reality is, I only know what it is to come like as a female founder. I actually don't know if male founder, the way investors want to connect with you, the opportunities, because sometimes the after party is that they want to go to this really late club and you want to make those lines really clear, which makes it harder to create kind of this personal relationship. I would say that we are at a time of change, and I think it's exciting. I'm seeing more and more investors that probably don't have a lot of female founders in their portfolio, but they're excited about the opportunity of having more female founders in their portfolio. They're opening up to those conversations. In terms of my co-founder, I personally don't bring him to first meetings. I think it's important that if I'm the CEO, that they see me, that they see me pitch and present the company. And then if we get to second meetings, which normally become more technical, and they also want to meet him and see us work together, at that point I bring him on. But
hey, thank you for giving me some insight on how you start your organization. What I'm really curious to do, as a founder, what are you doing to have an influence to change the status quo of business? Meaning, how is business run differently? How can we actually have more inclusion in the overall business structure that creates kind of inequalities within their employees? So my question is, what are you doing differently within your organization to change that narrative?
I'm trying to make sure if I got it. Is the question, what are we doing differently in our organization to break the status quo of like business as usual in terms of gender equality?
Not gender equality, more in the sense of, you hit it on the nail when you first started off, but more in the sense of your overall structure of business, meaning your employees, how they're treated. Also, how do you work with the community that, as a founder, you have that influence? Like, how are you doing that differently than what we have right now, for example, with the Reagan effect, the trickle-down effect, basically?
I want to make sure I got it. So how do we leverage that community to like build our team, build our...
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So there's a few different communities. Super important if you're ever thinking about starting a company, get yourself some founder friends. Other people that are going through the same thing as you are, that you can send a message and say, hey, how did you deal with this? Have you ever heard this? And sometimes I have to ask questions to my male founder friends and be like, do people ask you how old you are or whether you're married? And they say no. I'm like, okay, that's weird. And then surrounding yourselves with communities in the area that you're in. So we go to conferences like Beta and learn from other biotech founders how they address particular problems to our industry. We have different problems that tech startups like software, they want to scale, we need to like produce physical things. So being able to answer those questions. But yeah, I think the most important thing is having other founder friends that when you're having a really bad day, they say, I've had really bad days too, and it's all gonna be fine. Any other questions?
Thank you so much, Maricel, for sharing your story, and we really appreciate you coming here today.